Hi everyone. Um, Today I just wanted to chat about the topic called disconnect. I think it's very sort of a touchy subject for me, just purely for the fact that disconnection from my own life and for people around me has become sort of the staple of my day-to-day life, and it's just something that I am struggling with. You know, I always ask myself that question: why do I feel disconnected? And probably the best description of that, means different things to different people. But for me specifically, I've just lost passion for things I used to enjoy, and in turn, then that makes you feel stuck, and you search for a common purpose. And people, there's many advice people can give me, but I just feel I'm sort of stuck in a rut, and yeah, I just feel like I want to be on my own. Um, I'm not so much that I'm lonely, just that I'm alone. I like to be alone, because, I think I feel that sometimes your perception on life and the way you see it has no longer meaning. It sounds weird that I say it no longer has meaning, or that your sense of purpose has changed. And perhaps it is where I am in my life these days. Your sense of purpose has changed, and as you get older, you seem less energized to do certain things. And yeah, I think that also in turn sort of gets you stuck in a rut, and you start to lose motivation. But I definitely think, the strong motivator for my disconnect is stress and anxiety. Stress, not just on a work front but personal front, but you can manage those stress levels. But I feel that work stresses is the number one denominator for me that affects me the most. And it's difficult to find the balance, to then focus again on your own personal life and family life. How do you rid of that stress? I work in a stress environment. Let's not get that wrong. Yes, I could look at changing jobs, etc. But where do you find a job that will have less stress? Every grass is as green, and it comes with the same amount of stress levels, and it's about you and how you perceive and take on those stresses, and what mediums do you find to relieve those stresses. So ask yourself the question: am I absorbing those stresses while doing the day? And more importantly, what am I doing with those stresses once I'm done with it? Once I knock off at 5 o'clock, as a workday example, I'm carrying a lot of that stress home. And what is my release for that? Is it talking to my spouse? Is it talking to family? Is it talking to friends? Is it resorting to recreational drugs, or drinking? Is it exercising to get rid of that frustration? Do we inevitably get rid of that frustration so that we are refreshed for the next day? But yeah, I just find sometimes, my stresses, they build up and up and up and up to a point where it negatively explodes or implodes. And I feel sorry for the people on the receiving end. And most times it's your family that gets hammered by that sort of sudden outburst or annoyance or anger. Not that you're intentionally directing it towards them. It's just something will trigger you, and make a situation unkind, unwelcoming, and it's not intentional. But I think that's been the biggest thing in my life, is how do I manage my own stress levels? I don't manage it well at all. I'm thankful that I'm on medication that keeps my anger levels down to an acceptable level. But to me, that's not an excuse. How do we in society need to deal with these things? And it's a topic that I'm getting frustrated with, because yes, technology is such an enabler for stress, because it's creating, again, this instant gratification where we have these sort of small doses of dopamine all the time. It's a constant, but it's like I said, I sometimes yearn for the big highs, or the big lows, because the big highs, the big dopamine injections is kind of what you want, because these little dabs at a time eventually become numbing. And I think that's why I feel like I have no motivation, because these little perks on a daily basis is just going to numb you out. You do become used to it. It's like when you eat chilies over a long period of time, you have build up a good tolerance. And I think myself have built tolerance to these small dopamine shots. And yeah, it's like I said, technology takes that, or enables that release a lot more than what it used to be in the past. And yeah, it's disappointing. But yes, we could say we could get rid of technology now, not look at phones and go on walks and exercise and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day is, how are we in society today able to walk away from technology when technology is becoming the forefront of everything we do? I look at it with my child. He's just technology bound at the age of 7, and you then want to install your own experiences, what your parents said, no, go play outside and stuff like that. But it's so difficult to manage those steps now with our kids, because they are so exposed to technology now, and how that interprets how they react to certain things and environments. And yeah, I think also technology is a bugger for us not being able. It sounds weird. I don't think we share our emotions as honestly as we do, because we have this fear that we're exposing ourselves to society, showing us that we're vulnerable, and then people have the right then to belittle us or to troll us. It's all those sort of fancy words where people are going to take you on, and then we're scared to share that often. And I think that's kind of why I started these videos, is the fact that I do want to talk about it. I do want to share my feelings. I want others to share their feelings with me. And more importantly, let's talk about things. I think talking is so important. We hide behind social media so often to portray this better person, that we're always this amazing person, always smiling in photos, always having a good time. But that is such a false perception of reality today. That is not what we go through every day. We do have our downs, we do have our ups. We need to understand we're all human. We try hard, but sometimes hard is not good enough, and it does get us down. But we can't portray. And when I look at Facebook in general, just look, people are just smiling, having a great time, sharing their experiences. But is life all about those many ups? I don't think so. I think we need to learn more about the downs, so that we understand how we can then interpret those situations a bit better and resolve them better with people. Because I think we're still hiding behind technology like nobody's business, and it's frustrating. I think this terminology of disconnection is becoming more and more apparent, that people are then converting that disconnect into what I feel is a seasonal depression. Not necessarily being affected by certain events in their lives, but certainly they're going to get into those sort of environments where that stress and anxiety from whether it's work or home affects us a lot more deeper. And that's when we, at the end of the day, start to feel lonely, and we start to keep to ourselves. We don't want to, converge in meaning life conversation anymore. And this lack of disconnection with other people not only makes us feel disconnected from them, but it's also susceptible again to lead you into depression or other health issues. Again, you can start getting irritable bowel syndrome or headaches or migraines and things like that. And there's days where I think we really need to be cognizant of our stress levels, how we interpret that moving forward. What is our release mechanisms to get rid of that? And yeah, I just, that it then stems back to your outlook on life. How positive are you in your own life and environment? You look at today where the future is getting bleaker and bleaker, and that's only because this earth in itself is struggling to stay ahead of this global expansion of the human race. And are we doing enough from our own footprint standpoint of view? Are we doing enough to try and create culture and educate the people around us in terms of making this place a better earth to live on? But there's such a direction of trying to colonize other earths, or other like planets, and we don't really care about the one that we live on. And I just find the human race so bleak, so negative as an attitude towards earth, that I think I'm starting to feel those kind of negativities, and it's difficult to find a recurring resource of optimism. Everything is just so negative, and that's what I hate about social media. It's just so negative. So yeah, we need to try and wean ourselves, or at least limit our exposure to negativity. And in that way, that can help us manage our stress levels a bit better. But it is tough. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that's two questions I will leave you with today is, what am I doing to manage my own stress levels? What am I doing? Look at those things that I'm doing that is helping me, whether it's meditation or breathing exercise or just exercise in general, or am I taking drugs? Or what is those forms that's helping me to de-stress? And the second question is, what are my ambitions, or my should I rather rephrase that question is, what do I see a bleak view of this earth in the next 10, 20 years? Or what is my outlook on the future of this earth? More importantly, is that also affecting the way I'm thinking and feeling about my own life? COVID's put us in a very difficult position, but I think it's opened up our eyes in terms of what we truly need to really value in our lives. And be thankful for what you have. Be thankful that you have friends and family. Be thankful that you have good health. And I think those are the three things we need to be thankful for moving forward. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. Have a good rest of your week, and stay safe out there.